in chat is aarondobbe.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was. We'll just call him Aaron.
Okay.
That's what I'll stick with. Wulfy and Aaron. Yeah, the
We're ready to
Zarby89,
go.
wulfy83 that messed me up.
All right.
Yeah. We are off.
All right. We are off. So I'm Carcat, and this is with me tonight, the OK guy, Kenny.
Hi guys.
And we seem to be getting off now. Let's see, we've got the restream. Wulfy seems to be. Don't worry, everyone is. They are neck and neck. It looks like Wulfy's quite behind on the restream. But I can assure you, they are right beside each other.
Yeah.
Okay, and it looks like we've been resynced. Let's see, we both. Let's see what we've got. Okay, Red Ruby coming into escape, and looks like neither player has found bombs so far. Of course, generally you want to find bombs fairly early.
Aaron's on the mission. He's killing everything in front of him. Ooh,
Yep.
There we go. So is Wulfy. They know what they're doing.
They have gotten nothing of relevance yet, I believe.
Yep. A little less money farming they might have to do later.
Yeah. But what they're really looking for right now is a bomb drop. If you see any of them attacking guards, you seem like, well, why are they attacking guards in escape? They're looking for a bomb drop of some kind so that they can do the end part of sewers without having to double back later. Of course, that being a, fairly unpleasant waste of time later that is, if you can find bombs early enough, completely avoidable.
Yeah, it also helps to find a little bit of money here and there. Maybe some ammo for your bow if you happen to find it early on in the seed. We'll see what happens. Sometimes money plays a big factor.
Yeah, currently, pretty standard, pretty vanilla escape, with the map even being in the map chest.
Yeah. Aarondobbe having a little bit of trouble with some guards here and there. Lincoln swords.
Yep, mixing it up a bit with some of the green guards, but gets through there quickly enough. As Wulfy seems to be heading down to Zelda's cell. And he'll be in the fight with the ball and chain guard in just a few seconds.
All right.
Wulfy takes care of the ball and chain guard very quickly without any need to resort to a pot or any other kind of... Hey, it looks like Aarondobbe has found himself a bomb and is now finishing off the
paid off.
ball and chain guard. Yep. Definitely paid off farming that one green guard there.
Being a little bit behind might be, a saved trip from having to return here later. Returning to the sewers, not an ideal strat.
Yeah, especially given the requirement for the power gloves needing to get back into the sewers.
Yep.
Something that could potentially unlock things early on, you may end up then not getting access to until later, which can be a big time loss. Looks like Wulfy's about maybe 15 to 20 seconds ahead at the moment, though, as we are less than 4 minutes into the race. So that means absolutely nothing at this phase. I guess really the most interesting fact at the moment is Wulfy's lack of bombs, though. With all the rats and snakes in the sewers, I expect he'll be able to find a bomb drop at some point, most likely in the snake.
Oh, definitely. He's going to be wanting to farm at least a little bit. I would expect Aaron to be going for another bomb too on single slash enemies throughout the sewers. Maybe not. We'll see. Honestly, this race will not pick up and open up until probably after Kakariko Village, where most seeds do. Most races
Oh dear. Oh, Wolfie spawns a bomb drop and then accidentally the room.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that has got to be frustrating.
Yeah, you just gotta wave. Just go wave as you walk away. Thanks, doorway.
Farewell, bomb. Farewell,
Yeah.
bomb.
Snake killing pays off, but then that stairwell just sucks you right in.
Yeah, a
All
lot
right.
of doorways, stairwells tend to have the sort of suction effect in Link's Past, which can be very unfortunate. Oh, there we go. Finding the
Nice.
8 bomb drop there at the last possible second.
That's
That's
brilliant.
randomizer. That's yes, and that's brilliant.
It's going to help out a lot in Kakariko Village. You can gamble and take North Kakariko early on, hoping to get a bomb out of a chest, but going in there with that many, he's just gonna be throwing them everywhere. That could
Yeah.
also lead to next Lake Hylia, the cave with the baby Moldorms. There's some strats where you can just throw bombs across the pits instead of having to run back and forth. And slash
Yeah,
the
he's
baby
certainly
Moldorms.
not going to need to be farming for bombs. Although with Arondobbe now at 3, it's unlikely he's going to need to farm as well. It obviously being highly likely he's going to find them in Kakariko. Now let's see. Wolfie seems to be heading in a different direction though. Looks like he's heading in the direction of the Floodgate and perhaps the Baby Moldorm Cave earlier on. That would be my suspicion. He seems to be walking straight for the Floodgate.
Yeah, shouldn't. We'll see if this pays off. It's neat to not see somebody go straight up towards Lumberjack or straight towards Kakariko.
Yeah, a bit of an unusual route. I like this. Hopefully we'll see more of this as the tournament progresses. Okay, interesting, the pull object yields fairies in this seed. That might be potentially usseful later on. Suppose it would have been more.
The single
Would have been
kill prize.
ideal. Yeah, it would have been ideal. No, I don't think it was the single kill prize. I think it was the +4 plus take damage.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yep, I see it now. Yep. Nice. Yeah, that could be used. Yeah, I mean, if they get lucky and find a net early on, but that thing could be sitting in Ganon's tower as we speak.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, I suppose it would be ideal if they'd found 4 red rubies from any of those pulls.
For anybody that didn't catch it, the Lumberjack item was 10 arrows, I do believe. So nothing special there.
Ooh, and Wolfie finds another 8 bomb drop.
My goodness.
Okay, and Wolfie walks off with blue mail. And the blue boomerang.
Get himself a fighter sword or a fighter shield and have a nice little blue set going on. Maybe some cane of beer now.
And okay, we've got Wolfie now heading into basement of Blind's house, usually a fairly lucrative early area. Not uncommon to find something valuable like the hammer or bow here. Though seems to be coming up a little dry tonight. Finding nothing of use in the lower chamber.
No.
Oh, although the bug net, which is apparently not in Ganon's tower.
Yeah. Yeah, that's nice.
Arondobbe now with the bug net.
So the 4 then damage tree pull actually could pay off, more than just saving a life, maybe saving a life.
Yeah, can we downgrade the armor on Arondobbe's tracker to green? Alright. Ooh, Arondobbe finding the mirror shield, however, so deck that shield up to the max.
I think it's my least favorite shield. It obscures so much of the space.
Ooh, wait though.
Riot shield.
The Moon Pearl, ladies and gentlemen.
Fantastic early item.
Located in the well, the Moon Pearl.
So, not going to Kakariko first. Looks like
Probably
Zora's on his
about a.
way anyway. but-
Seems to be about a push either way.
Yep. He found some nice stuff by Lake Hylia, so we'll see what happens.
Finding a fair amount of heart containers early on.
Yep.
That's going to be especially good for Wulfy right now with his blue mail, although the chances of Aarondobbe not finding the blue mail are virtually nil. Aarondobbe locating the Cane of Burna, one of the more useless unique items, tends to lag the game fairly badly, so doesn't see really a lot of action outside of a few very specific rooms.
We could see quite a bit of use of it during this tournament, though. There are places such as in like Thieves Town and the Hellway where an inexperienced player might just, pop that on and take off running, or even fighting blind, just stand there, let her die.
That's true. That's quite
Great
true.
strat. It's kind of fun, especially if you need to take a drink or something. Just turn on the cane and enjoy yourself.
Yep.
It's neat that I brought up both the net and cane, blue cane, and they've both been found.
It looks like Aarondobbe's located the flippers over at the maze race.
Yep.
And it also appears that Quake seems to be waiting at the library for whoever can bunk it down once they find the boots. Am I?
Quite a bit ahead of me too, but it's not so far that I can't be like, oh, that's what he's talking about. All right.
Oh no, I said that when I said he was going for flippers, not had flippers. Yeah, no, I think
he just peeked. Yeah, I think he was just peeking to see what.
No, I saw it when he came down below. That's why.
Okay. Now finding the flippers is great because now they don't take a chance of dying instantly while doing fake flippers and getting hurt. Normally, in a vanilla run or playthrough, if you're doing fake flippers and you get hit, it soft locks the game if you don't save and quit. If you move after getting hit, that's rough. So finding flippers negates any worry of that happening here.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see if that Quake medallion ends up being necessary, and if it does, if both of our runners actually remember that it's there. The library item often getting forgotten.
Have either of the players checked the map? I'm not sure of the status of pendants and crystals.
Think so, no. I don't think either player checked the map.
That's one thing you'll see veterans do right out of the gate whenever they're leaving Sanctuary is just evaluate the map, see what they have to do, make some priorities early on, even when they don't have much gear or much equipment to work with. So I'm excited to see where that takes us.
Okay, Aarondobbe, swimming, I believe. Okay, yeah, looks like he's heading over towards the Ice Rod Cave. And now with Wulfy heading towards the Feuding Brothers' house, looks like he's heading below to Peak as well. And the flippers are in sight.
Now, even though they're broke, with the flippers, they could go to Zora's domain and check to see what the item on the ledge is. Just take a peek at it. It might be a little bit of a waste of time if Zora ends up having something nice, but 500 rupees this early to, coming by that many, or farming that many this early on. Some might take a chance, but...
Yeah, I mean, they don't really have a lot of explorational items besides the flippers to work with right now, unfortunately. Let's see, Aarondobbe, it looks like he might be heading up towards, check what's on the Lake Hylia Island.
I like his choice of jumping in the water whenever possible. Efficient swimming, I'd imagine it could be a lot faster than just walking. That's subjective. Bad swimming's probably better than decent walking.
I
Well,
think actually good swimming is faster than walking though.
oh, for sure. Especially when you're cutting corners to get to, different ladders getting back to the land. On his way to Ice Rod, I thought it was a good idea to jump in the water.
Finding the mirror under the bridge there though. Both players.
Great item to find early on. Having
Just
Pearl and Mirror
found-
early on, just you're waiting to find an item to get to Dark World. Just it's a good feeling. It's a
Yep,
very
and
good feeling to have.
Wolfie's now got the mirror as well. Now with the mirror, okay, there was a map there for a second.
I didn't catch it. I want
It
to see if
looked like Desert had a crystal though. Yep, Desert and Eastern have a crystal. And looks like Hera's got the red pendant.
okay.
So the red pendant in its vanilla location, but with otherwise 2 crystals in the light world. It looked like Eastern was crystal 3. I didn't catch what was on the desert one.
And the numbers actually they do matter because getting 5 and 6, I believe it is, opens up the big bomb at the bomb shop, and that gives us 2 items and possibly free green potions if you wanted them from the Fat Fairy.
Oh, and it looks like Wolfie bit off of your strat and went straight for Zora's domain, and it did find indeed found the payoff. Finding the power glove.
Yep. Maybe a few hundred rupees short of going to see what Zora has, but we're moving on.
Yeah, getting that power glove early on can often make a huge difference.
Yes.
Being able to lift just opens up so much.
Yep.
And of
Even
course, Aaron,
without the mirror and pearl, it was a great find.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
oh my goodness, magnificent find with their current gear. ARONDOBBE, the Eastern idea is. I'm not sure if I would agree with it.
I'm not sure if I would do that without Bo this early on. Although he does find the Master Sword, though I'm not sure if that's going to provide a substantial advantage.
With Pearl and Mirror, he would be able to get to Dark World.
That is
I mean,
true.
he might make a rush. He might rush for it. We don't know. He's gonna check the rest of the dungeon first, though. Obviously, do what he can. It takes out a return visit later. Maybe if he has to visit Pod, he can clean this up.
Yeah, it looks like Wolfie taking a bit more conventional decision to head up the mountain.
Oh yes, the mountain is rich with treasure.
Although currently lacking, see, he's got the mirror, which means he's also got access to Hera. If he can only find the hammer or hookshot, the whole mountain will be open to him. At least the whole of the light half. Obviously, Titan's Mitts being required to access the dark half.
ARONDOBBE, even though he's came to Eastern first, it looked like he had a weird strat there in the skeleton room, but it worked. He only spawned 2 of the skeletons, killed one of them before they showed up, and I liked it.
Oh, is there a problem with my mic right now?
Oh, I do. I hear this scratchiness as well.
Let me know if that's cleared up. All right. I just adjusted some filtering.
I believe Hookshot was found by Wolf. Yeah, that's great. Okay, then. Okay.
Oh, that's the 300 rupee cave. Yeah, he found 300 rupees in the cave inside Spectacle Rock.
So he's only a couple of rupees away from, or shortly, he's a couple of rupees away from having enough for Zora. Let's see what the giant fish gives him. Has Dobby gotten anything of value other than the Master Sword from Eastern? I don't think he has.
No, he does not seem to have.
He
But
throws
yeah,
that.
it looks like he's going for that rush that you predicted. Appears to be heading straight for Agnem, so.
Yep.
Depending on what he finds on the pyramid, may prove a good choice, although at this stage, now with Wulfy having access to the entire eastern half of Death Mountain, that may be perhaps unlikely.
Making good use of hook shot. Without boots and you have the hook shot out, you might as well try to optimize your movement.
Okay, Wulfy finding a red potion and the lamp.
Fire source.
Yes, a fire source, very important, especially if he's going to be going for, you know, he's going to need that for getting the crystal out of desert, for one thing.
If Arondobbe continues on into Dark World and then heads to Palace of Darkness without hammer or bow, he also does not have lantern, which means some of those rooms are dark. Could be a difficult time.
Ooh. And Wulfy finding Book of Medora and Hammer.
Fantastic mountain.
So putting him in a very advantageous position in terms of items.
His Dark World might end up being a little bit more fun than Aaron's. His first visit, anyway.
It's certainly going to be interesting. We're going to see. It's going to largely depend on what he finds on the pyramid. I mean, I don't see how it could give him an advantage at this stage unless it's something like the Titan's Mitts. But even then, with the Power Gloves, Hammer, and Moon Pearl, and Hookshot, Wulfy already has access to most of the Dark World.
Yep. Not to mention a good amount of health, a mirror shield, and tons of damage reflection with that blue mail. So, I have to mention Aaron through this tower hasn't been terrible using that boomerang to his advantage. Forgetting to get the small key from the archer in one of the rooms, but he's not doing bad, making his way through the tower.
Ooh. And Wulfy, though, finding the Titan's Mitts
Yeah.
means he'll actually have access to the dark half of East Death Mountain now, which he's probably going to head straight for.
Yep.
Yep, which he is doing.
Good routing through the mountain so far.
Yeah, excellent mountain routing. Okay, and it looks like the pendant. There's a pendant at Thebes for one thing, and I'm gonna see if I can catch it a second on the restream. Blue pendant at Thieves and green pendant is at Swamp.
All right, and then 5 and 6 were Palace of Darkness, and I didn't catch the other one. I believe it's in Dark World, though. Was it Skull Woods, maybe? Possibly. Ooh.
Yeah, as Chad is pointing out, there is still no sign of boots. Although those could be virtually anywhere, and with a see what we're gonna find at the entrance to looks like Quake, which we know where Quake is in the library, is required for Turtle Rock, which I believe Turtle Rock was crystal number 7.
I think that's right.
Ooh,
It would be
finding Cane of Samaria.
Oh, fantastic! Just great mountain all around.
All right, saving and quitting after finding half magic. Wulfy being in very good position item-wise.
Yep. But this is randomizer, so we can't jump to any conclusions. He does, however, take a pretty strong lead with his choice of heading straight to the mountain the moment he found those gloves.
Aarondobbe has found our missing boots. So he will at least have the ability to dash from here. Although, without most of the required items to do much in the Dark World, not sure how useful that's really going to be.
I'd imagine he might just bail and go back to Light World from here. Oh, we'll see.
It looks like he doesn't appear to be aware in his ability to jump into the water there to bypass those rocks, and turns around and heads towards Palace of Darkness.
Yep. Now, with Wolfie having access to Dark World as easy as he does, there is a chance that he could space and forget to check the pyramid for a while. We'll see what happens. Of course, then again, maybe his first time passing by, he jumps in there and sees what there is just laying for him. So much great gear on Wolfie's side. He knows where one of the medallions are, one of the required medallions. Whenever he gets to Meyer, I mean, it's a possibility he might only need that one medallion for both of them. Meyer was not a pendant, correct?
I do not know. Meyer was not a pendant.
Okay, yeah.
Meyer was a crystal of some kind.
Okay. On Aaron's side, if you noticed, he went to Eastern, couldn't finish it, knew he couldn't finish it, but checked it out and found the Master Sword. That led him to Dark World, where he found the boots, and now he's in Palace of Darkness, where he's missing 2 items to finish the dungeon. This routing choice might not pay off. We'll see if the early boots...
Yeah, well, unfortunately, since the hammer is off in Death Mountain, certainly not going to be able to finish Palace of Darkness.
Mm-mm.
So whatever he decides.
I think we're going to end up seeing all of the pegs near the blacksmith hammered one at a time.
Yes.
Yeah, are you seeing it already? I bet you are. Yep, I knew it was coming.
Well.
I'm sure once Aaron ends up on the mountain. Oh yeah. I'm sure once Aaron ends up on the mountain, he's going to kick himself. Well, I guess as soon as he heads to Zora's domain, he's going to kick himself.
Yeah.
Because that's going to lead him on the item collection that Wolfie has already, taken under. So many great items. Missing, rods and medallions, the bow. Nothing else really. I mean, the boots.
Well, if Misery Meyer is going to be required, we're going to need this flute at some point.
Yeah, that's right. Also, the flute is going to be required sooner or later.
And Arondobbe doing what he can with dark navigation seems to be doing okay in the current room, but looks like he's getting ready to leave the dungeon.
I like the strat of holding out your sword in dark rooms when you don't have a lantern to use. It's nice. He has no source of fire, so even
he has very little in terms of inventory at all. Really the only serious item, only like Y item that he's got is the mirror. Everything else being support items like the pearl and the flippers and boots.
Also, chat is correct. I don't believe either of them have went to. Well, Aaron doesn't have a bottle yet, but I don't think they've checked. Wolfie has not went back to town for the.
Well. As you say that, Wolfie heads back to town and checks the bottle kid and finds himself the ether.
Medallion.
Another medallion, and so A potentially required battalion, since we don't know exactly what the current entrance requirement for Misery Mire is. We're of course not going to know until we find the flute.
I'm excited to see if Quake ends up being required for both of the entrances to those 2 dungeons. It's always nice when that happens, and knowing early on that it's in the library is it's just a cozy seed when that happens. Especially for Wulfy at the moment. He has to be enjoying himself, knowing how many items he's found. Though he has no idea, he could imagine Aaron doing the exact same thing. Concerned about boots when, sure, Aaron has the boots, but
Yeah, but nothing else, unfortunately.
yeah,
or
that's
very
what
little
he
else.
knows. Heading to the desert to check the ledge and check Agana's cave, I believe his name is.
Yeah, although he will not, even though he's taking the chest the long way, he's not going to be able to check the Bombos tablet, since he does not have any kind of upgraded sword.
Oh, that's right. Good.
With the
Good
fighter
looking out
sword,
there.
he's not going to be able to take. See what he gets at the. Oh, only finding rupees at the thief. But yeah, he's not going to be able to see what's in the Bombos tablet, unfortunately. Wulfy coming up on the northeastern swamp cave just tends to be a pretty lucrative location in a lot of seeds.
Oh, definitely.
Anywhere where you're gonna pack 5 chests within 2 rooms, or 5 item locations within 2 rooms at any rate.
But as things go, he has hit the lottery on that mountain.
Yeah,
So he has less amazing items to find and more junk
yeah,
to find.
seems to find nothing of note. But seems to be that he's heading up towards the pyramid and is likely gonna find the boots fairly soon.
I might be wrong, but I believe Arondobbe ran all the way to Kakariko from Sank and then just saved out. Not sure if he was going to the money farm and changed his mind. I don't know what happened there.
Well, he seems to be heading up for. Oh, well, he's heading for Zora's now. He's gonna find that ledge item and, as you say, probably be kicking himself.
Yep.
He's gonna be
But-
able to at least go up the mountain now.
Yeah, his mountain exploration will be a little bit faster.
Fortunately, finding only health. Your predictions for Zora's item. Do you think we're gonna be seeing a life lesson, or do we think that this is gonna be something useful? I think we might just find the bow.
The bow, that would be a nice item to find. I mean, he could find either of the rods as well. Any required item at this point would be fantastic. A flute would be pretty hilarious.
Flute would be excellent at this stage.
Mm-hmm. His movement around the world would be just, he could do almost anything that he wanted.
Interesting. Wolfie receiving the shovel. So we've essentially just postponed whether that was worth it or not.
Yeah, we could be going on a
A pointless fetch quest.
pointless fetch quest. Yeah, it,
Of
it
course,
always
then again,
reminds. Well, go ahead.
might dig up the fire. I was gonna say might dig up the fire rod. That was
Yeah,
all.
exactly. Or dig up the mushroom and have to take that to the witch. It's always fun. It reminds me of Ocarina of Time doing the Bigoron sword fetch quests one after another. And more often than not, it is the case that it's nothing in the end.
As it was, nothing.
Yep.
Unfortunately, just a 5 arrow capacity upgrade. Now, Wolfie, I'm guessing maybe heading in the direction of perhaps Swamp Palace. He's got everything he, well, no, seems to be going towards desert. Likely going to, I guess, finish desert at this stage. He has everything he needs. He's got a fire source, he can dash.
Mhm.
Crystals ripe for the taking.
Ooh, some others have noticed as well. Whenever he dug up that arrow upgrade, he did not pick it up. No sense in holding that over his head. He just took off, left the forest.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can agree with that sometimes. Sometimes even
Yeah, for-
skipping full heart containers. It's a few seconds, but why not? It's a few seconds.
Yeah. It's a few seconds for like a +5 arrow upgrade when you already start with 30 as it is, and you know, some, like, especially ones in chest, are going to be unavoidable anyway. You know, arrows tending to be not super critical in very large numbers. So, yeah, I agree with just not even bothering grabbing it.
Yep.
Just wasting a few seconds.
Yep. With the chance of finding silver arrows, just compounding that. Now, speaking of silver arrows, do you know if either of these players are going to require silver arrows for their Ganon fight?
I'm
I
not
imagine
sure
some
about
runners will.
Arondobbe. Wolf most certainly will not. Wolf definitely able to do a tempered Ganon without any trouble.
It's great to hear. I imagine during the tournament we will be seeing some searching for silver arrows from some of the racers. I might be wrong about that, but I think it's a safe assumption.
Yeah, I think it's a safe assumption that we'll see it at some point. Certainly.
Which, not to downplay or say anything bad in that nature, it's just some people aren't going to dedicate themselves to learning how to fight Ganon without them. And there's no shame in that. They're already in the tournament, so they're asking
Yeah,
for it.
absolutely. Of course, neither race are really finding anything of interest in desert so far.
It is fun to see them both running through the desert, though. I do like seeing them both in the same area. It seems like Aaron didn't go throughout the entire mountain. Did he only check part of? I don't see what happened. I didn't see when he left the mountain.
Well, he didn't do the drop cave, I'm guessing, which means he didn't find Titan's Mitts. Which means he didn't get the whole Dark World half.
Okay, so the spiral cave.
Yeah, I'm
that's
not sure
another
if
thing he might end up
spiral.
kicking himself about. Yep. The common theme is missing something during a race in randomizer and then never forgetting that item again. Of course, until you forget it again.
Yeah, definitely. That's a until you do.
Until you do, of course. But for a while, I guarantee Arondobbe will not forget the spiral cave if that ends up playing out to his, Oh, I wonder how. Has Wolfie gone into the Landmo fight for you yet?
No, not yet. He's
Okay.
about to.
Okay, good. Just check to see where I am.
Him pulling up the item menu, realizing he doesn't really have a lot to fight Lanmo with. Just gonna have to use his fighter sword. Although important to note that he's in no real danger with Blue Mail, the amount of health he has, and Red Potion. Just going to be a tedious fight more than anything else.
Yes. Now, I could be wrong, but pulling out the hammer, that and using the hammer, that would be the equivalent of slashes from the tempered sword. Is that right? On Landless?
On Lamellus, yes. Although hitting Lanmo with the hammer,
Easier said than done.
a little difficult. Although not impossible.
No, I've even seen double hits. I'm pretty sure. Spin attacks sometimes, whenever they pattern themselves in a certain way, you can get a spin attack to bounce off multiple times between the two of them, kind of a pinball maneuver. When working with just sword slashes. Oh, you say that he's not in any real trouble, and then a heart and a half of health left later.
Yeah.
Starting to clench a little.
Although keeping in mind that Lammo does half a heart of damage and he's got a red potion.
Mm-hmm. That he doesn't need.
That he doesn't need, certainly.
Yeah.
Of course, Arondobbe, rather, having slightly easier time with Lammo with Master Sword, of course.
Yep. And doing the spin attack pinball maneuver with this Master Sword. Not bad. I agree with ACM that hammer might be a good choice, but safe and sound, there's nothing wrong with that either.
And certainly with the fighter sword, it may have been advisable. Though personally, with any magic sword, Master Sword included, I would have probably just gone with sword for simplicity purposes. Now, interesting to see what Wolf is doing now. Perhaps heading for Skull. No, he can't. He doesn't have Fire Rod. I guess just heading back into Dark World for general exploration. Perhaps checking North Dark World.
Getting kisses from the priest before he goes on that little journey as well.
Okay, 6 was Palace of Darkness.
That's right.
And didn't we say 5 was...
I think it's Skullwoods or Meyer, one of those two. But I can't be quoted.
I think 5 was Eastern, actually. And that'd be interesting if it's Eastern and Pod right on top of each other.
That would be nice.
I did not see a 5 on that Dark World map.
Neither did I. I've tried the few times that we've gotten a small peek at it.
Wolfie, remembering to double check a frequently forgotten spot.
Mm-hmm.
Many runs destroyed by that one chest.
Yep.
Many a good run lost. Such a terrible chest. But we're going to see what's at the top of the graveyard.
There's many spots near the graveyard in both Dark World and Light World that just can throw a great seed, into a downward spiral if you just happen to pass by them, or maybe not having boots and passing by and only getting one of the items or a couple of the items. But with his gear, no problem. He's just going to clear out the entire area. And now Aaron's heading to Zora as well. Has to sting a little bit, knowing that he could have came here much earlier to find the gloves. And still no circle cave on the mountain. The bow on Wolfie's end, that's phenomenal. Great place for the bow. Horrible place for the bow for some, but great place for the bow when it comes to entertainment. The Bonk Grave, I always call this King's Tomb as to pay homage to Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. I don't know its official name, but King's Tomb is the best.
I'm not even sure if it has one. I mean, I personally always called it the Cape Cave, because it's where one finds the cape in Vanilla MG, of course. And it looks like Wolfie heading over to do Palace of Darkness and or Eastern. Likely both, now that he's got the bow. He's got the bow, he's got the hammer, he's got the lamp. there's no reason he can't do both dungeons right now. With the mirror, he can obviously do pod a lot faster than one would without.
I didn't catch it, but oh, never mind. Never mind. You're
Wulfy
right.
making the interesting move of mirroring up on the ledge instead of right in front of the door to Sahasrarla's hut. An interesting decision of where to mirror.
Sometimes the bonks just don't register if you're too close to the wall and you start a dash and then turn towards the wall.
Yeah, I believe you might have to be at least like 3/4 of a tile away from a wall before you can bonk break it, if it is indeed a bonk breakable wall.
Mm-hmm. As for Wulfy mirroring up on the ledge, sometimes it's just you know that that's a safe place to mirror and you're not going to get kicked back into Dark World. So that's what you use. There's some neat places where you can mirror and just be exactly where you need to be to pick up a rock or go into a door, such as Sahasrarla's hut. Kind of like whenever he was before he entered Pod or before he entered Eastern, you know, he backed off a little bit just to make sure that he wasn't getting kicked out of the warp.
And Wolf finally finding the Master Sword.
Mm-hmm. Now he has a great blue and gold set of gear. Very fashionable. And boots throughout Eastern, as well as Hookshot, just a really fun dungeon. Really, really fun dungeon, especially when you know you're getting rewarded with a crystal afterwards.
Just looking into chat for a little bit. Yeah, Baba Haben, Master Sword will save time on Helmasaur fight. Helmasaur taking only half the number of slashes from Master Sword as with the Fighter Sword.
That's right. With the Fighter Sword, you come in. Most of the time, you'll want to either try to go for hammers on the Emerald, or just switching to the bow and plugging them, I believe, 8 times with regular arrows.
Yeah, actually keeping in mind that it's the straight up slashes from the Master Sword doing no damage at all. Master Sword requiring spins to do any damage.
Easier said than done sometimes when he pushes you up against the wall.
Yeah, arrows can be the same case.
Oh, definitely. When you want to hold your sword to the north and adjust your angle for fire.
So that's right when Helmasaur likes to do his strafing pattern.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And tail attack and fireballs at the same time, of course. Along with that. Always just multi-attacks. And when you're under-equipped, he's the most aggressive. If you go in with silver arrows and gold sword, he just stands there. Now, Aarondobbe checking the area where he's going to find Bo, but the opposite direction. It's nice to see, nice to see small developments like that, finding the same items just in reverse order. Though he really does need to clear out that mountain, not knowing Titan's mitts or waiting for him up there. Silently.
Well, with a it's a good thing, but Titan's mitts are going to be required no matter which way you spin it, really.
Yep.
But now,
matter of time.
He's more in the right direction, and at least he looks like he's got everything necessary to complete Eastern and Palace of Darkness, which is what I'm guessing he's doing right now.
Yep. Both of which, having already visited both of them, he can go in and just knock them out. I believe he has some more pod to deal with before he can, but some of it completed. Taking tons of damage outside the pyramid. Did you catch that? just bodied left and right and then shot by a spear on the way out the zone.
Yeah, luckily, got that blue mailer. He would have. Yeah, I believe he would have been killed.
Possibly giving hugs to enemies in Dark World is not a good idea with any mail, honestly.
Yeah.
They do
And
they do have a lot of health. I'll give
those
them
big
that.
chomping guys doing if you're unprotected, 3 hearts of damage per hit.
Wolfie had a great Armos fight. If anybody happened
If
not to catch
anyone's,
that, it was
if
good.
anyone managed to not blink long enough to see it, it was.
Yes, exactly. If you missed the Armos fight, it's because
That's
it
how
went
good it
fairly
was.
well. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. All right, Aaron's going into the side of the dungeon that I was thinking that he missed out on. It's so great to see them just meeting up in dungeons to high five here and there, even
Yeah,
with different
that's
gear.
actually
Pretty cool.
some of the most interesting parts of it, really. We're about not quite an hour into it, but
On both racers, and the gear that they have, at 50 minutes is fantastic. The seed has been pretty generous. I blame most of it on the mountain. The bow and the Titan's Mitt locations, 2 easy locations to forget. So any racers that are here watching, taking notes, might want to make a mental note of those. But if you ask Christos, it's probably just the chicken hut. That's the easiest to forget.
yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Speaking of bows.
Arondobbe for a minute having a little trouble bonking back up to the platform, but seems to have cleared it.
Yeah. Sometimes getting into beetle fights, it's not a great idea.
Yeah, those red beetles actually having the same amount of HP as Helmasaur himself, which can make things quite ugly.
The moonwalk down the stairs, the
Yeah, that was
slash
an
backwards.
interesting animational quirk. I do like that very much.
I've liked his dungeon from the second he entered. The bonk, getting across that little gap. I've heard of it, but I've never even attempted. I've never thought about doing it. And seeing him attempt it and fail it, and then showing me how it's done, I like that. I like that a lot. ACM says too that he has not done that. Cool strat.
It's actually yeah, it's a cool little strat. Don't see it so much with the mirror, although personally I find it quite useful when you don't have the mirror and find yourself in pod.
Yep.
In situations where you don't have the mirror, it definitely saves, a good 10 to 15 seconds.
It wasn't a bad idea for him either, because it was a revisit to the dungeon, and he went into the east side initially. So, pretty neat. Pretty neat how that worked. This dungeon, so key heavy. Sometimes knowing the math of what you have, if you haven't found the map or the compass and you've found a certain amount of keys, within the second half of the dungeon, moreover.
Yeah, Palace of Darkness having, I think, something like 5 unique items, but I believe like 14 or 16, 14 chests, I think.
Yes.
Absolutely ridiculous number of locked doors.
Yep. Sometimes you can leave Palace of Darkness with, I think, 3 or 4, depending on if you do bomb jumps and if you ever open that first key door in the second room. You can leave the dungeon with a lot of extra keys, unused keys. But it looks like Aaron's heading downstairs, so he has cleared the dungeon. Not gonna have any keys left over at all. both of these guys having some odd throws to get to the big chest in this dungeon with their bombs. Somehow Wolfie's did connect and open up the wall, but both of them struggling a little bit with their bomb throws. Wulfy almost got caught up by that red beetle. If you're a little slow hitting the switch with whatever means, and that beetle gets in the way when you're trying to jump down, sometimes it's better to just reset the room, get him out of there, instead of jumping off and bouncing how many times? 12 times or some crazy amount?
Aarondobbe getting a lucky fairy heading into Helmasaur.
Oh, great fairy. I'm ready for you, Helma King.
Yeah, excellent time to get a fairy drop. And it looks like he's cleaning up Helmasaur quite nicely.
Yep. His hammer's connecting, and then when the fireballs come out, he doesn't just keep attacking, he takes his time and sees what's happening. Those fireballs, when they come out, once one of the fireballs explode, you know that it's going clockwise, and you can kind of base your movement after that. Not a bad fight.
And as Aarondobbe heads out of pod, we have Wulfy heading right into Helma's room.
Yep. Both of these guys having minor turtle parties. Small turtle parties. Nothing too out of hand, considering Wulfy has full health coming into the boss fight.
Now, if that is the crystal I believe it is, then I think Wulfy might have crystals 5 and 6 at this point, giving him access to the Great Fairy. So, the Big Bomb and subsequently the Great Fairy. So, or the Fat Fairy, I should say. Let's see what he's going to do.
Yep. Still looking for rods and a flute on Wulfy's end.
Yeah, heading over to Sanctuary. Not sure what his current plan is. It looks like he's heading over for the Dark World, although without a fire rod, it's unlikely he's heading for Skull Woods. But I don't think he'd take this warp if he were heading for, say, Swamp.
Now, it's quite far out of the way to come all the way here and then head to South Dark World. But then again, heading into Skull Woods without Fire Rod, it's not a terrible idea.
He seems to be heading into Thieves Town, despite Thieves being a pendant dungeon, and Swamp being okay. Finds the Fire Rod though.
Oh goodness! What color?
Call.
What color pendant? Did you catch it?
I think it was the blue pendant dungeon.
Okay. Sometimes that extra little bit of payoff from Sahasrara will force you into a dungeon that you really shouldn't enter.
To explore real quick and finds the Fire Rod turns straight around.
Yep, and has to Skull Woods? I would imagine.
Heading right for Skull Woods.
Yep.
Sensible decision at this stage.
Yep. Until we find out that Ice Rod's buried deeper in Thieves Town, or Blind is holding on to it for him, or for these guys. Aarondobbe took the safe bottom right strat for Armos, letting the last Armos turn red, but then not having enough ammo for the end of it. Still cleans them up just fine with, I guess, like a beam sword and then a spin attack. Is nice fight considering it ran out of ammo. And ironic considering we were talking so much trash about the 5-arrow upgrade and the... which I don't think he has seen.
I don't think his issue was capacity, though. I think he just didn't have enough arrows going in.
Yep.
Ooh, ended up killing 2 Gibdos with a single fire rod shot, but then fires a second shot anyway.
I have no idea how the area of effect, the AoE attack for Fire Rod works.
Not really clear, yeah. I mean, once it makes contact, it seems to have a little bit of spread to it.
Sometimes it's amazing. Sometimes you're hitting all 3 land molus during the land molus fights. Sometimes you hit all three of them with one shot, or the same goes for Cold Stare during the second phase of the fight.
Aarondobbe picking up the Quake medallion, which Wulfy is yet to obtain. Hopefully he remembers it's there.
But of course, Wulfy has checked, knowing that he's going to need it. Aaron has yet to be to that side of Dark Death Mountain, or to that Dark Death Mountain at all. And but still,
That's true.
getting it now, he's going to find out later. Oh, good call for me to go out of my way and grab this. It was not a waste of time visiting the library. I like that Wulfy remembers he has the Cane of Samaria. He does not have to mess with all of these mummies and pulling on this statue and such nonsense. Nope,
Yeah,
I have this cane. Makes
dragging
its own
that
blocks.
nonsense around with wall masters coming down.
Yep.
All other kinds of shenanigans.
More times than I'd like to admit, I've left that room after pulling a statue and realized, oh, I have the red cane. That was a fun waste of time. Same happens in Palace of Darkness. Now there was a tree that Aarondobbe passed by heading into the Lost Woods. That if he would have bonked, oh no, I'm wrong actually. He has completed. He is in the second phase of the overworld. So since he has beaten Aghanim, bonking that tree would not have produced apples for him, I believe. Maybe somebody in chat can correct me if I'm wrong about that, but I believe him beating Aghanim means that some of the trees have been changed. What they produce when you bonk them or pull on them.
Got Wulfy cleaning up Moth. Interesting that in just 2 rooms prior to Moth, he does kill the Gibdo for the extra key that he doesn't need. But carries on and continues.
Possible muscle memory.
Wraps it up with Moth pretty fast. Yeah, likely muscle memory.
Finishing the dungeon with an extra key. Skullwood's having many just dead ends. Parts of the dungeon that you'll never visit, even in a randomizer race. Unless, of course, you make the mistake of jumping into a bad hole.
Yeah, I was going to say one hole that you take that's part of no route in any category, in any form of the game.
Ooh, we have a red sword, it looks like. By chat. I haven't seen it yet, but chat's freaking out about a red sword, so I'm excited to see.
Well, we've got the ice rod on Wulfy's end. Finding the ice rod in the back of Skull Woods there.
Wow.
And it looks like silver arrows at the pedestal.
It was nice of him to check for us. It's a great place to check too. Good routing choice. As soon as you leave the Skullwoods second area, just mirroring out and heading up there with your book. Now,
yeah, so likely we're not going to see silver arrows in this seed. I don't expect.
I don't think so
as
either.
we discussed earlier, not sure about what Aarondobbe's skill level is, if he knows how to do. I mean, he could breeze through a tempered cannon. I'm not actually sure.
Yep. Time will tell for all of us.
Time will tell.
Parisian, he does not have all 3 pendants, which are required to get the Master Sword item. I don't believe he has any pendants, actually. Nope.
No, he does not.
Wulfy made quick work of his 4th crystal. He does now he has both of the crystals required to get the 2 fairy fountain items.
Yeah, interested why Wulfy is now in Thieves Town instead of going into Swamp.
Maybe he's hoping he'll find a flute in here, and he can just jump straight out of the dungeon and activate it.
Yeah, I suppose it's pretty minimal investment to check these front 4 chests.
Yep, not too bad. Again, if this is the pendant that Sahasrara is looking for, it could, bear an extra item.
That is true, although I do not believe that it is.
I don't think it is either, but it's very difficult to keep up with the crystal and pendant locations I think I'll get better at keeping track of these kind of things as the tournament progresses.
I think I'm gonna have some commentator cheat sheets for pending crystal locations made up, actually.
Oh, sounds.
That
I like
might
the sound of that better.
simplify things even better.
Yeah, give my memory a break.
TWKVF6, yeah, it's silver arrows.
Mm-hmm. Which means unless these guys want to beat 3 extra dungeons, possible 3 extra dungeons, we don't know. There might be an important item at the end of one of these pendant dungeons. Unless they want to beat 3 more, they're going to be doing Master Sword or better Ganon fights.
Yeah, although it looks like Wulfy is finishing at least one. Seems to have just made the decision to go on and do Thieves, looks like. Timon, the Book of Medora text has been translated. It's no longer a poem about the Master Sword, but just a piece of text about whatever it is you found there.
Not always crystal clear what it is, but you can usually get an idea.
If it's a relevant item, you'll know.
Yep. Sometimes it'll say things like couch change, and that's just, some rupee drops. I think my favorite is something like wavy coin. Talking about
that's the credits one. Actually. Yeah, the credits text.
Oh,
has that. I'm not sure what the actual in-game. The credits text being a bit more out there, as it's not as relevant. The actual plaque text that you read with the Book of Medora tends to be a little clearer.
Yeah, usually. A little less cryptic. Though I do like wavy coin. That's what it should be called in the manual. I don't totally disagree with AarondDobbe's choice of going to Swamp with his current gear. There's a lot of good items here, a lot of good chances for items, rather.
Yeah, 6 in fact. Mm-hmm. So
the only unfortunate end is that boss rushing or dungeon rushing through Swamp compared to clearing out Swamp looking for something important is significantly different. A Swamp boss rush is just fantastic. It's really enjoyable.
Still not sure if Wulfy is aware he's doing an extra dungeon. Unless he's expecting to really luck out on blind.
Or he wants those silver arrows. Maybe we're wrong and he just wants a really easy Ganon kill.
Well, he's got himself a blue pendant. So he's third of the way there.
Yep. Now, Wulfy did not, neither of these guys have checked Hera at all or the Ether plaque. Is that right?
Yeah, I don't think they've... Yeah, no, I don't think they have. Nor do I think they've checked Bombos for that matter.
No. Wulfy couldn't earlier whenever he was getting the purple chest. He was still running around with the fighter sword.
Okay, and it looks like Wulfy remembering to pick up the Quake medallion. Or the wavy coin, as it were.
That's right. It's probably been on his mind since he was bombing the floor in Thieves Town. Can't let myself forget this item. I know where it is, and I know that I need it. Both players' item HUDs just filling up pretty quickly, considering we're only an hour and 10 minutes roughly into this race. Great seed so far. I've really enjoyed it.
Really elusive flute so far, though.
Yeah. Ice Rod took a break off today and let Flute come in for him.
Now, it looks like Wulfy's taking your advice, checking up on those tablet spots.
Mm-hmm. Much like finding the bow and, back behind the graveyard, behind King's Tomb. Just that single item that may seem way out of the way. You go out of the way for it, pays off,
And Wulfy getting the cape, and at the exact same time, AarondDobbe finding the mushroom deep within swamp palace, so
Soggy mushroom. Nothing, nothing like a soggy swamp mushroom. That could pay off. You never know. Maybe the
that
witch is
could
sitting
pay
there
off.
hiding something. Sitting there with the flute.
The witch might well have the flute at this point.
Yep. Aaron did have a little bit of a hard time getting started. So I still think that Wolfie's in the lead, not just with gear, but his routing choices. However, that could change in just a single moment and a single choice on either racer's end. Either
I
one
am
of them making a
curious
bad
about-
choice could just send them off the rails to lose a ton of time.
It's being mentioned in chat. Yeah, I'm as well surprised why Wulfy is prioritizing pendant dungeons. There's nothing stopping him from going to Ice Palace right now.
Maybe his Ice Palace is kind of weak, or maybe his exploration or routing of the dungeon itself is kind of weak, and he's hoping to dungeon rush it and not mess with the extras. That sometimes, you know, a non-speedrunner of the vanilla game, maybe they'll have a stronger Ice Palace because they can explore it or route it better, whereas somebody with muscle memory that runs NMG quite a lot. I don't know, Wolfie's pretty good at randomizers, so that might not count for him, but still a possibility nonetheless. Just a weak dungeon, or a dungeon he does not want to do. Flute in Ice Palace would be unfortunate, especially if it's deep.
Things are starting to look that way, though.
Mm-hmm.
Really running thin on locations that flute could be.
Did you catch Wolfie getting beat up by the skeleton while he was trying to push the switch? That happens to all of us. Makes me smile from ear to ear when it's not me. I know that might sound evil, but it's just good to know that it happens to others. Wolfie doing a lot of walking in the water. Not a great idea. Your walking is limited to, I believe, like a quarter, 25% slower than normal? It's 1112, I think, is the pixel movements through water and grass, but I could be wrong about that. Just terribly slow. Terribly slow to walk through the water.
Ooh, and it looks like that mushroom pays off Aarondobbe with the flute.
Yep, we called it. It's neat to see things work out that way, especially because we know Wolfie is looking for that item. He needs that item. Aaron doesn't know that. Aaron's missing a ton of stuff. He still has yet to go back to the Circle Cave and get his Titan's Mitts. Once he does, he's going to get a lot of items that's going to waste his time. I think the powder wasted time, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Going to get the bat item. I don't remember what it was.
Now, as soon as Wolfie turns that mushroom in, he'll be able to rush straight to the end.
Yep.
Well, we believe.
Yep.
He
might
course,
put it off.
Meyer may require bombos, which neither
That's
runner
right.
has.
That's right. And we have not seen it. Though finding the flute opens up 3 super easy to get items before you even enter Misery Mire. There's 2 on the west side, sitting right next to each other, and then in the light world, you can get to another underneath a rock in the northeastern corner of the area. So 3 easy items, even if it is Bombos, it might be sitting right there for him. Great flute location.
Wolfie clearing up Argus. Entering the final phase. Looks like he's going to use spins.
Both of the guys did a good job of getting through this with the blue sword. Having to slash each one of these puffs is pretty rough.
Would have expected maybe some more fire rod in that final phase, but
yeah.
Sahasrara with the blue ruby.
Yep. Here you go, man, for your troubles. Now get out of my house. You already blew open the back wall, sir. I don't remember what was behind Sahasrara. I don't think it was anything of merit.
It was
garbage.
nothing of interest. It was a heart piece and some rupees, and I think that was it.
Yep.
Certainly nothing memorable.
Speaking of rupees, it's nice to look at the ammo counts and the money counts of each racer. Wulfy is running around with nearly 1,000 rupees in his pocket, and Aaron's not so rich. He could buy any potion he wanted at the witch's hut, but he doesn't have a lot of money.
Of course, Wulfy not realizing that he's already holding the item he needs.
Oh, that's right.
He's got the mushroom in his pocket, ready to get the flute, and looks like he's decided to do the west half of the dungeon first.
Can't blame him though. He's looking for that flute, and if that flute is in this dungeon, he's not going to miss it. He's not going to make the mistake of leaving it behind him in a dungeon that he's beaten already. So you really can't blame him for jumping back into the dungeon.
Yeah, aarondobbe, about to run out of magic. Just has enough. Just has enough to get through, but is rewarded. Finds himself the tempered sword.
Yep. Very nice. Though it does break up his blue and gold outfit. That's unfortunate. I've enjoyed both of these guys having the blue and gold. Good gear set.
Not sure he's gonna make it out. Ooh, just barely.
Oh.
Barely makes it out of there.
Did you see him opening up the save and quit menu at least a few times after getting to the other end of the spikes before heading out? He thought about it, he didn't, and then he got out of it. Good move. I think the hook shot saved him. I think it did.
Oh, absolutely. Surprised he didn't go try to farm a fairy off of those Oh, he finds Sanctuary Heart. All right. Never mind then.
Now, the way that we know that that's Sanctuary Heart, not just a regular old, boss full heart container, it's because it fills up your health. Normal bosses, whenever they would drop a container, like in vanilla, you would just get that extra heart and that's it. It's good to see that refill. Oftentimes it happens at opportune times. That's, be 3 hearts left in Ganon's tower and find that Sanctuary Heart. It happens a lot with heart pieces as well, finding the 4th one when you really need a refill. In late game, especially.
It's like Wulfy's about to come up on his missing flute, which means he will be perhaps in full dungeon rush.
Yep.
We'll probably find out very soon. Expect he's going to head straight for Mire to check which medallion's needed. Because if he has the medallion he needs already, he can do a very fast Ice Palace.
Everything. He's just looking for boss keys or finishing dungeons at that point. If he does not need that last medallion. Talking to the witch a second time just to make sure she understands. He has to be excited. He has to be excited finding that flute.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm excited for him. I can barely contain myself. Giving the priest kisses, nothing wrong with that. I don't see Wulfy getting the tempered sword. So we'll see if either of these guys find the butter sword, but Wulfy might be finishing this out with just blue. Maybe that's why he's thinking about getting silver arrows. In case he does have to finish the game with the regular Master Sword.
Yep, he looks like he is going straight to check which medallion he needs. Trying to scope out whether he's actually done with items or not.
Yep. And I'd imagine he's grabbing the 3 items outside of Mire once he finds out.
Looks like he's grabbing those items first. Didn't even
without
check
even scoping it out?
Didn't scope the medallion. Doesn't look like it. Although he finds red mail, so...
Chat's wondering if anybody's in the definite lead. It is very difficult to tell, but if I were to put my money on somebody being ahead, it would be Wulfy. Aaron is still missing a very important item from the mountain. Also, Red Mel on Wolfie's End is fantastic.
Yeah, and he does indeed have every
Excuse me.
item he needs to finish the game, and it looks like
Yep.
he knows it.
Yep, he knows it. He's saying to himself, "Let's find the boss key. Let's go straight into this dungeon and find the boss key. That's what we need."
Yeah, Aaron, unfortunately, I believe, still missing the Titan's Mitt, which is really the thing holding him back right now.
On my screen, Aarondobbe is in my favorite room of the game, the tile room in Hera.
Ah, yes, the tile room.
Yeah, great room to take a break and stretch your legs or refill your drink if you need to. Great room. Maybe not so much in a randomizer race. Waiting this long for one chest, unless you know that it's a small key or a big key that's required to finish the dungeon. Sometimes it's just waiting for junk.
As it was in this time, apparently, finding 50 rubies there.
At least he has a fire source. So many times somebody will wait for this item, get in here, and oh, I don't have fire. Just wasted all that time.
Yeah,
and then it'll end up being an important item.
There. I usually call that the mirror of shame.
Yeah.
Heading over? I think he's heading... Alright. Yeah, looks like he's heading towards the Spiral Cave, Aarondobbe, that is.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, looks like he's going to find his missing mitts.
Now, like I mentioned earlier, him finding these mitts means he's going to find probably the powder shortly after in Dark Death Mountain, but he's also going to find, I guess, Cane of Samaria is one of the items. He can also check to see what he needs to get into T-Rock, but getting that powder might waste some of his time if he thinks, oh no, I need to go back and check the blacksmith cave bat half magic guy. I need to check him for one of the rods. Yeah, he could end up wasting time heading that way. Fire Rod being in a pendant dungeon, just a troll because then that Fire Rod leads you to Skull Woods where you find the next one. That's correct, Other Tom. Wolf took a great lead at the beginning. His advantage was created when he found the Titan's mitts and routed out his mountain, both sides, and I mean not counting Hera, but both sides and Light and Dark World. He just routed the mountain in a great way, and it paid off, and it's been paying off ever since.
Yeah, really important that he didn't miss the Spiral Cave. That was a bit unfortunate for Aaron.
Yep. There's been a couple of kind of just kick yourself moments on Aaron's end that we know he felt it whenever he would check the area. Going to Zora's Domain and seeing the regular gloves there. The gloves, I guess. Aarondobbe just wrestled with both of his gloves during this entire race. But now he's on track and knows what he needs for T-Rock, for one. He's clearing out the mountain.
Half magic in the cave.
Yep. In the most people need hookshot cave. The scientific name for this game. It's not called wrestling. No. Well, he didn't lose a ton of time. Even though he didn't have the items, or even though he missed the gloves early on, he was still being productive the entire time.
He kept moving.
He kept moving. He checked half of 2 dungeons, Palace of Darkness and Eastern, without the items required to finish them. But he kept moving, and that is important. I mean, he's not getting stumped, that's for sure. He's putting up a fight. If he jumps into Thieves Town, he would be boss rushing as well. And possibly getting to skip an entire dungeon that Wolfie did. Getting that blue medallion. Well, wait, Wolfie actually went into Thieves Town, found the Fire Rod, and then left, and then came back later to finish the dungeon.
Yeah, that's right.
So Aaron could save a bit of time not even having to do any of that if he finds Fire Rod and he doesn't mess with thieves from then on out. I don't think there was anything else amazing in Thieves Town.
Yeah, Gamer Cal in chat making a very good point. It's easier than you think when the pressure's on to
Hmm.
freeze up and not think about where the next place you can go even is.
Yep. And
Even the best runners get stuck.
Yep, it happens to all of us. You'll see us just sitting on the map, just sitting on the map. What did I forget? What did I pass up? You know, what did I not check whenever I ran through this area twice already? Happens to the best of us. And he hasn't sat in any pause menus. I mean, I've seen him conflicted, opening up his save and quit menu, but then not saving and quitting and continuing on. I believe that's how he found the tempered sword,
And Wulfy cleaning up Vitreous with the Master Sword.
Yep, good fight. Good fight. I think being comfortable knowing that he has a potion to fill up if he needs to, he wasn't scared at all, jumped straight in the goo and beat up Vitreous. And for a moment here, we have both racers, in the same dungeon for a third or fourth time. Even with completely different routing, different choices and places to go, these guys end up in the same dungeons over and over. I like it a lot. It was a very clean Vitreous fight.
Not sure on Wulfy's motivation for the additional
extra
overworld
item?
exploration. Yeah, perhaps he's hoping for an upgraded sword.
Possibly.
Certainly seems to be going for
a bit of muscle memory, maybe.
Looks like he might be going for 2 blue potions. Yeah, it looks like he's going for 2 blue potions.
Yep. But you can't blame him. He's aware that if he has to go into the Ganon fight with the blue sword, the Master Sword, he's going to be spinning and hacking away at Ganon for a while.
And he's going to need the Torch Glitch, and he's going to need quite a bit of magic. And also, he's coming up on a fairly magic-heavy dungeon, as it is.
Yep.
Ice Palace, although he does have half magic, though. So perhaps he shouldn't be quite so worried.
Still,
Those
he is
may well be for later.
Locked and ready, possibly for the rest of the game with those 2 potions and all of this great gear.
Yeah, 2 blue potions. Pretty powerful stuff.
Sometimes seeds will be uneven. You'll get all these great items to continue the seed, but you're not getting health, you're not getting money, you're not getting, any types of armor upgrades, be it shields or mails.
Oh, yeah.
You can be very weak in Dark World sometimes, and that was a possibility in this seed, and both of these runners avoided that by being thorough with their searching, their overworlds. I'm excited to see this Ice Palace from Wulfy. See how he handles ice
I
physics in this.
expect we're gonna see the
Great game.
pretty straightforward, direct NMG style Ice Palace.
Yep.
Take the bomb jump, head straight down, don't waste time, don't fool around.
Yep, great amount of health. Those 2 blue potions, he might just nuke Cold Stare. He might not be messing around.
That is true. And lacking bombos, he could just spam Fire Rod like crazy with those potions.
Because blue sword's not terrible, but...
Well, he has enough money. I was going to say if that were his intent, he would have perhaps bought green potions. But perhaps he's just going for versatility. Yep. Use them when you need them for what you need them.
And I'm rich. Why not?
Yeah, and he can afford them, so why not?
Yep. Great bomb jump. I mean, if you guys caught that, it was just very clean by the numbers. Slash his sword, back up, drop the bomb, move a little bit, straight across the gap. No messing around. He is ready for this to be over. I like his hook shots to kill, I mean, again, guys, he's using the Master Sword, and it's easy to forget that. He has this, weak level 2 sword, and he's doing a great job with what he has to work with.
Alright, and we've got Wulfy just about Pulling the statue, about to head into Cold Stare.
These guys are going to be needing arrows in G Tower, so I wouldn't blame either of these guys for going out of their way to get arrows at late game, at end game. Especially Aaron not knowing where these rods are, he might have to need more arrows than... Well, I mean, Wolfie's boss rushing. He knows exactly how many arrows he's going to need. I think there's at least one refill in T-Rock that he'll probably grab, top off a little bit.
And Wolfie cleaning up Cold Stare. Very nice, despite having his very terrible sword. Of course, taking 4 times as many slashes with the Master Sword as with the Golden Sword.
Still, he nuked them all a little bit with that extra fire rod magic. Or
half magic really paid off there.
Oh, definitely. You notice that he started to charge up the sword and walk diagonally while there was still 2 of the clouds left. Walking diagonally with your sword charged and a lot of stuff on screen lags the game out a ton, and I think he realized that quite quickly because he started slashing immediately. After doing a spin attack, I think he turned around and said, nope, I'm just slashing him to death. Save on those lag frames. Might not seem like much, but they add up over the course of the game.
Yeah, when you see those stats at the end and see you've got 12 minutes of lag.
Yep. You're walking diagonally a lot.
Yeah, you're walking diagonally, holding the sword out.
Shooting silver arrows or throwing the red boomerang.
Silver arrows, using the cane of Berna.
Yeah.
All of that time comes from somewhere.
Yep. Sometimes it's out of your hands. There's nothing you can do about it, but sometimes you do make it worse on yourself.
AarondTP running out of arrows.
Yep. He was aware of it too. He went out of his way for some arrows in the dungeon.
He's working his way through those arrows, through those eyeballs. Gets knocked around a bit, but looks like he's cleaning it up now.
And he's doing a good job of not spamming the sword as fast as you can. He's kind of picking a small rhythm to let the sword completely slash in front of you, or at least, more than halfway. Spamming the sword as fast as you can, sometimes the eyeball will go right past your shoulder and body you. Even with red mail and a ton of health, it's not ideal. He claims it's a good fight. Not a bad job.
Yeah. He keeps the giant center eye at bay.
Yep. He didn't die. He survived.
He survived. Ultimately, that's what matters.
Never anything negative you could say about surviving. Sometimes that's what these seeds come down to, or, these races come down to.
Important thing is Vitreous is dead. And
also, during that boss fight, we might have missed, or you guys might have missed it, but Wolfie had an okay climb up the mountain this time around. Time to look for boss key in this dungeon. In T-Rock. While AarondTP looks for his rods. I believe on AarondTP's side, his half magic isn't shown. I don't know if anybody's noticed that or called it out yet.
Yeah, chat seems to be pointing that out about his half magic and cape, apparently.
Okay.
In fact, I believe both racers have the cape.
But it's so unimportant at this point.
Yeah, the cape is not an item we're going to concern ourselves with excessively. At this point in the run, there really isn't a purpose for it.
By the way, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but Wolfie is dungeon rushing this dungeon if he knows to kill the pokey and grab the key and not open the door due to muscle memory. He's set. He has enough keys for this dungeon. He's on his way to
actually, finding the compass in the chomp room actually leaves him 1 key short.
Yeah. Yep, you're right. You're right. Counting my chickens. I got a little too excited. Still in a good position. Oh, aarondobbe just now finding the cape on my end. I should probably refresh his.
Yeah, no, that was it was about time. I see. Yeah, he knows he's got the big key, so he does not likely trade that key for another key.
Yep. It again. When the pressure's on and you're not completely thinking, you're just excited to be boss rushing. Oh, I just found the boss key. You can just turn around and pop that key door and oh, what am I doing? You know, why did I do that? Did he hit the pegs on the way back? Oh, Wulfy in that double Poke room got the best pattern, and even though he wasn't charging his sword, handled it with ease. Just one fire rod shot, killing both of them.
And Wolfie's still needing to find one more key.
Yep. He didn't make the mistake of skipping out on the big chest, though. Oftentimes holding a small key that you have to return through, you know, a third of the dungeon, backtracking, and you know you could possibly set up a mirror back to the cave by the laser room, but still, just a huge waste of time if you skip that and it ends up being important. Wolfie's hoping to see a small key in the very first chest of the laser room.
You know, thankfully with the mirror shield,
Yeah, no big
not
deal.
that I don't think Wolfie would have any trouble with laser skip, although he
No.
does find bombos.
Nice. Yeah, it sometimes even knowing laser skip very well, doing 4 in a row, you just there's that one. You always miss one of them and get knocked off. But mirror shield, just walking through.
Getting juggled a little bit by some of these, but
Yeah.
he's got his key.
Yep.
He's got his key, and he's going into try next with plenty of health.
Yep.
And he's
Plenty
obviously
of
going to have
spares.
full magic going in due to the magic upgrade right around the corner.
Yep. He found that unlucky arrow, fell in the hole a few times, and now it's time to kill the boss. He is a trooper, though. He's finishing this dungeon with the Master Sword. I imagine that's another reason he has those 2 potions. He might be nuking Trinex, much like he did with Cold Stare.
Looks like he's going for the hammer. Probably
Great strat.
Sensible decision given the current situation.
Oh, definitely the low percent, you know, typical strat you would do.
Running a little low on health there.
Yeah.
I think he can take about one more hit before he's going to need to break open that potion.
Yep. Sometimes when you see that tail wagging, you get a little nervous and you start running out in front of Trinex. Your best bet is to stay there and just keep attacking, and when that tail stops wagging, you know you're going to get headbutt. Run straight into the spikes and take single-hearted damage and abuse those invincibility frames.
Looks like Wolfie actually making use of, or potential good use of the cape, if he, dodges those attacks. I guess with the half magic and lack of a good sword, the cape does play up a bit more in this seed than it otherwise would.
Yeah?
Of course, gold sword's still nowhere to be seen. Although it could well be in Ganon's tower.
I could be wrong about this, but it seemed like he was experiencing a little bit less lag while he was using the cape and fighting, finishing
well,
off
that
Trinex.
is, the cape does indeed reduce a small amount of lag, as the game doesn't need to draw Link.
Yeah,
it's just one less sprite on screen.
It might have been, you know, my eyes playing a trick on me, but it did look like Trinex started moving a little bit faster once he popped that cape and became invisible.
Yeah.
It was nice.
Although
Good
Wolfie,
fight.
Wulfy doing a very good job of proving me wrong. Making excellent use of the cape, given his substandard sword he's got to work with at the moment.
Yep, doing a great job with Master Sword. Entering the final dungeon with the blue sword, the Master Sword. Arondobbe is going to be finding the Ice Rod, I believe it is, before finding Fire Rod and having to return to this dungeon. So my predictions earlier were wrong when I was expecting him to possibly find fire that leads him here. Seems like he knows his way around the dungeon pretty well. Free green potion for Wulfy.
Yeah,
Checking
probably
those too easy.
useful. He's gonna definitely want all the magic he can get again. And
Oh, for sure. Knowing that he has that extra, also just makes you comfortable, and you know, well, I can waste a little bit. I have all these potions in my arsenal. I can try to be fast and aggressive.
There it is. All right, no longer needing to meter that magic out so carefully during Ganon now. Wulfy having found himself the golden sword.
Yep. Kind of a cozy seed from beginning to end, starting out with you know, Master Sword. Well, he had Fighter Sword for a long time, but having Blue Mail for an extended period of time, both of them coming into Red Mail shortly after.
Yeah, I'm just thinking
They've
he
been
had
loaded.
Blue Mail almost, what, 5 minutes into the seed?
Yep.
Not even sure if it was the full 5. Well, he finished Escape, so it was at least 6 minutes.
Yep.
But 5 minutes after Escape, I should say.
I think Aaron might be on his way to find... How did he get Ice Rod from Skullwoods? Or was it the actual Mothula item?
No, the Ice Rod was in the chest in the same section as Mothula, the end section.
Okay.
The
small labyrinth. Right. Small labyrinth chest in Skullwoods is where...
Hold on a second.
No?
Wulfy, wait a second. Wulfy getting the big key, but running upstairs with 0 small keys.
Oh, this is a mistake that if he doesn't get lucky, this is a mistake.
He might get unlucky and lose quite a bit of time.
Yep.
Not sure if he noticed.
Again, one of those mistakes he won't likely forget.
If
it comes to pass.
If there is no key upstairs, he will not forget this for a good long while.
You got a little excited.
Yep. Although, as Chad is pointing out, he has quite the sizable lead. Even if there is no key upstairs, it's unlikely going to change the results at this stage, given the number of crystals.
That's true.
Arondobbe currently has.
Now he doesn't know that. He
that is
might,
true.
You know,
he
doesn't know
that
at all. Making a small mistake like that can take a small, you know, maybe not a lot, not for every player, but it'll take a toll on your morale. You know, I just made a silly mistake, and one mistake often leads to others.
Yeah, it's just one tiny little thing before it's tilt, and it all goes bad.
Exactly.
And that is exactly the kind of thing that can really get to a player, really get in your head, a mistake like that.
Yep. Hopefully he just stays on. He's been playing clean since the beginning of this race. I don't see him getting thwarted by a small mistake like that too bad, but hopefully it's not a mistake at all and he just lucks out, finds a bunch of keys upstairs. Good fight. Good Landmolus 2 fight from Wulfy, if you guys didn't catch that. And aarondobbe finishes up the Skull Woods. Let's see how his ice goes. I think that's where he's headed now, right?
Yeah, it looks like it's a sensible decision at this point. Well, it's not like he has many other choices.
Mm-mm. No. To anybody thinking that racers are quitting, it would be ill-advised to quit, as the brackets, the seeds for the brackets, they're going to be determined by averages. So quitting is just going to affect you in a terrible way. You want to at least finish. Even coming in second place as fast as you can is important. Oh,
Wulfy,
he doesn't check.
Ready to double back.
Yep. Everybody sees it. But remember, guys, he is the one playing the game right now.
Oh,
it's
Wulfy lucking out, finding a small key.
Yep. Lucky move.
Heart attack averted.
Yep. I
He's
bet you
breathing
his
a
hands
bit
are
easier
clammy.
right now.
$300 in a small key. He feels very rich right now, everybody. He is excited. This is going to be a great time. This seed I could see for most runners being right under the 2-hour mark. Aaron has a possibility of getting, close to 2 hours, maybe a little more, since he has to finish ice. Oh, I have a little bit of echo. Okay, it's gone. He has to finish up ice, finish up T-Rock, and then we'll see which direction he goes when he goes into G Tower, but great run from both of these guys so far.
Good Aghanim pattern so far. Second pattern not so great, but looks like he's about to clean it up.
Handling it well.
Overall, pretty generous Aghanim too.
Yeah. Handling bad patterns isn't very easy. It's not easy at all. And sometimes getting a good pattern and being cocky about it, you get, double hits and triple hits, and you don't realize it. But what was that? 3-cycle, clean 3-cycle.
Wondering now, aarondobbe, does he know that the silver arrows are at the pedestal?
Yeah, after Skull Woods, he did go check.
He didn't
I believe.
check? Okay.
I believe he did. Yes, Chaos Daemon, for a lot of the races in this randomizer tournament, I will be commentating as many as I can to keep you guys pleased. Into the Ganon fight. He didn't check? Okay, I'm being corrected. I remember him mirroring. Maybe he mirrored and just fluted away. Or maybe I'm misremembering and it was Wulfy that made sure to go and check.
Well, I definitely remember Wulfy checking.
Yeah, I could be misremembering. Thank you, guys. By the books, Ganon fight so far, just tanking damage. Doesn't matter, I have red mail and tons of potions in my pocket.
And he's got torch glitch, which means shouldn't have really any trouble from here, pretty much.
I think he could use the fire rod and still be fine with as many potions.
With half magic, he could probably waste half the shots and still be fine.
Yep, exactly. Parisian, yeah, I will check the schedule. I'm going to be signing up for as many as I can. A lot of times it'll be where I can't do back-to-back, but every other race, give myself a couple hours of a break between them. Sometimes I'll do them back-to-back. We'll see what happens.
Wulfy getting a couple triples in these Ganon cycles.
Yep, I'm seeing them. Clean Ganon fight, better than...
Excellent arrowless Ganon.
In fact,
now let's go. Let's not GG till we see the Triforce. We know how these things can go.
Yep. Last hit on Ganon, and you
Okay.
fireball and hold the wrong direction, and go flying off into the pit. Yeah.
All right, GG, and
Exactly.
official race bot time of 1:49:57.
Great time.
Of course, we get to see exactly how Hospital's name is spelled in this seed.
There's been
With
some
our
that make me
randomized
snort.
credits, it being slightly different every single time. I don't think I've seen the same one twice.
I know that a few that I have seen made me laugh.
I won't spoil it.
Don't spoil it for me. They're embarrassing. The credits are some of the best parts of
Absolute
these randomizers.
gold.
Yeah, that's salmonella. That's the right way to pronounce it. Sarsaparilla is probably my favorite Ruble. Yeah, sarsaparilla made me laugh so hard that I snorted. I don't even think it was on stream. I think I was just sitting by myself practicing, and I saw that.
Yeah, I haven't seen Salmonella yet.
It's
the only one I've ever seen twice. The only one I've ever seen twice was Sandwich.
I haven't seen that one. I haven't seen Sandwich. Okay. Flying Pumpkinhead. We do still have a race going on though. Arondobbe. He's probably gonna have the same dungeon. We'll see how his G Tower works out too. We know that he can just totally mirror out the moment he finds the big key. Doesn't even have to worry about the rest of the chest in the room that the big key is in, and he can just continue on. As for T-Rock, we'll see if he accidentally wastes a key on another key. Good game, Wolf.
Nope, it's a breadsmith seed. That's how you know it's a good seed. It's a breadsmith seed.
Yep. That and the 149.56. That's a pretty good indicator of it as well. You know, an average runner getting a 2-hour seed, there's nothing wrong with that. 2-hour seeds are usually fun. Arondobbe is handling this dungeon just fine. Taking a little bit of damage here and there. I didn't see his mountain on his way up to the dungeon. But so far in this dungeon, he's been doing a great job just clearing out enemies, doing what he needs to progress. For a second, I thought he was going to just completely skip the chest in the Chain Chomp room, which he could have. But no, he was playing it safe, even though the Chain Chomps ate his Samaria block. Making good use of magic powder. Walks right past the arrow refill here in T-Rock. It's a common arrow refill you guys will see throughout the tournament. Well, I mean, sometimes you're just loaded with arrows, but he had a little bit of trouble with arrows during the Vitreous fight. And again, he's pretty low. He's going to need some for G-Tower.
Yeah, 5 is certainly not going to do it. G-Tower not even being possible without at least 8 wooden arrows.
Yep. I mean, he has a handful, but it's just
Well, if he doesn't have silvers, he definitely needs at least 8. It's just not even possible otherwise.
Yep.
Needing, obviously, 4 for Mimics 1 and Mimics 2.
Unless he absolutely requires the silver arrows, I don't see him mirroring in front of G Tower and getting the last pendant to get them.
I'm not sure if he, as I say, needs silver arrows or not.
Yep. That's something we've speculated on since the beginning. I don't think he's going to. I'd imagine he would have came back up here as soon as possible if he was wanting those. But he hasn't checked it either. I don't think he knows they're there, even.
Vtorp has a very good point, though. You do find 5 in Mimics 2.
Yep. That is right.
So technically, he only needs 4 to clear Mimics 1, as long as he doesn't use any other arrows.
Mm-hmm. Now, with drops being weird, you could also... Normally, you can, hope for a good drop from one of the Mimics. But with the prizes being kind of, randomized, go figure, you could get anything. But the extra 5 in there is a very good point with Vtorp. Seems like AarondDobbe's having some fun in the Dark Platform maze. Dark Platform Labyrinth.
Seems to have come out of it, though, and is...
Yeah, I liked his route through it.
Clearing up the laser chest room. Oh, and about to come up on the interesting stats for Wulfy here.
47 out of 61 small keys for Wulfy. That's a lot of wasted time.
Curious to, of course, see how many bonks and how much time in the item menu. The two stats that tend to interest most people.
Yep. It is good to see. There was three full dungeon rushes. It's good to see that too.
23 bonks and pretty good sub 4 item menu. Always good to see.
Yeah.
Under 4 minutes in the item menu. 332 is pretty good.
I think under 5 minutes is nice because
anything.
I sit in my pause menu sometimes just thinking, I have these items, I need to go to these places. Under 4 minutes is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Lag time 10 minutes. A lot of walking diagonal. A lot of diagonal walking and explosions. This game's full of explosions.
On the topic of explosions, as Trinex decides to put on a Michael Bay movie here.
Oh, for sure, ACM. There are seeds where you just run around with the same item in hand, never needing the menu very often. Keeping bombs as your first equipment item for a long time, that's nice. That keeps you out of your menu for a long time throughout the run, throughout a seed. 1:48:39 in-game time. What was the official time? 1:49:57?
Official race spot time, 1:49:57.
Yep. Nice.
And see
Quick
if we can get the audio over to AarondDobbe's stream.
Yeah, we can do that.
Oh, alright, good. Then let's switch my audio as well. Perfect.
Well, no, the SRL time, Poison Algae, was 1 second less than his split timer.
Yeah, at least for purposes of
the race.
Well, for most official purposes, the SRL time is the final time. So, we got a 1:49:57 on RaceBot, which is really, actually, AarondDobbe not that far behind at all.
No, he's had made some bad choices early in the seed, but he's been making them up with leaps and bounds. throughout movement and boss fights and things of the nature, he's been catching up.
Yeah, it really came down to that spiral cave early on. Would have been a pretty close race. Parisian player, how the total time is calculated? It is literally a case of counting the number of frames that the SNES draws to the screen. That's it. It's just counts frames. 60 frames are 1 second, according to the calculation. Even though, yes, strictly speaking, they're not on the real SNES. It's some fractionally bit different, but for the time, that's actually why it's slightly off. But it's just a frame counter. And the way it actually counts lag time is similar. Just the number of frames that the game produced versus the number of frames that the SNES actually drew. Subtract those amounts, that's how much lag you have. Now, save and quit time does not count. Save and quit time does not count because your timer gets reloaded when you load your file. So that time between the save and the load when you're on the file select screen doesn't get counted towards your in-game time.
Yep.
And that's part of the reason why we use RTA time with RaceBot. The in-game time not completely reliable in RTA sense.
ACM points out the lag time was also 10 minutes. How I was mentioning a lot of diagonal walking and explosions, that adds up fast.
Yeah.
He's about to find the big key. I'm curious if he's...
Yeah, nope, he sticks around in the basement, doesn't assume he's going to find a small key.
Lots and lots of capacity upgrades all the time.
Yeah, capacity upgrades for bombs, arrows, and magic have been itemized so that they can be put into chests in Randomizer. And yeah, ACM has a very good point. Every single screen transition on the overworld adds a fair amount of lag. I think it's about half a second, actually. I believe.
You can calculate that in pretty easy. Some of the stats that are also shown during the credits are places visited. You could add those together pretty quickly, you know, or I guess subtract them if you're doing that kind of math. Wanting to find out a more accurate in-game time, but meh. Looks like he's heading all the way downstairs, hoping to find a key that he doesn't know is right in his path.
ACM, there is a technical reason that I don't think most of the stream is going to want to hear or care about regarding why that anti-fairy is misdisplayed. Suffice to say that if you don't get the item that's that bonk item that's sitting on the torch at the start of basement, you will get that glitched anti-fairy. Whereas if you collect that bonk item on the torch, you will not get the glitched anti-fairy. And that actually has to do with just a programming bug, essentially. It is strictly graphical.
Nothing that hurts the game. Yeah, just graphics. Yeah, nothing that hurts the game. Needing a small key. He doesn't know he doesn't need it, so he needs it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not optimal, but he's doing the responsible thing right now.
Yep, exactly. He's trying not to do what we were all afraid Wulfy was doing. He even passed up the room with the two baby Helmasaurs. Had to backtrack to get the small key.
Now, because of the current key configuration, this tile room has a 100% chance of yielding a small key.
Yep.
So he just needs to finish this one room and head back upstairs.
I did not know that. It is actually great to know. If all else fails, come over here.
Well, considering how that door right there is locked, and he has no more small keys from the basement, there'd be no way to progress.
Yep. There's quite a few instances of guaranteed to keep you from breaking the game keys in every seed.
Because I do not believe the logic would ever force you to go upstairs and climb back down. Though I could be wrong. There's your small key, and yeah, he's gonna go up. Oh yeah, Sonic Cam 5, you're basically not gonna find soft locks.
No. You'd have to go out of your way pretty hard.
Yeah, it's actually in recent versions, in version 8, I have not yet seen one. Like a legitimate, you can't get out of real item lock or key lock in standard difficulty. I just have not, that has not yet happened in version 8
Yep.
that I'm aware of.
It's been a very long time since I was forced to go to the far basement for a single key under a pot in G Tower. I mean, some people don't even know what I'm talking about. It's a very deep, small key.
Okay, Aarondobbe getting very good arrow drops.
Yep, using that mirror shield. Shoot at me, red mimics. I do not care.
Yeah, in Zero Rush, that soft lock is thankfully resettable, due to exactly what you just said there.
Yep. That was actually an issue in early versions of the randomizer, going in and
Yeah, actually,
putting water over the keys.
One of the first serious soft locks ever discovered. One of the first avoidable, perhaps the first avoidable, fully avoidable soft lock ever discovered through randomizer, and one of the first that was fixed as well.
One that I also remember, it's reminiscent of that, is Desert Palace. Without boots, heading to the second part of Desert Palace and grabbing a small key, and then backtracking and messing yourself up by opening up the east side of First Desert. Yeah.
Common source of soft locks in earlier versions.
Yeah, it's a weird thing to do. You wouldn't even think to do it, but sometimes we get ahead of ourselves. You know, trying to cut corners. But that's all. That's been fixed now. Yeah, trying to go fast, but that is fixed now. This hasn't been a terrible a gauntlet for him at all, but he has been getting bodied in these last few rooms. So, I mean, he has... I don't think he's going to die. He has, like, the powder to get himself out of bad situations.
Yeah, and he's past the gauntlet.
Oh, nice.
He's in the home stretch at this point.
Yep.
Just got a few more rooms to clear and be done. He's through the irritating rooms.
I don't know. Aga 2 could be pretty entertaining. Wulfy gave us a 3-cycle with easy patterns. Mind you, he gave us a 3-cycle.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens with Aaron when he gets there. Oh yeah, I see him. I remember a lot of people also just messing up Palace of Darkness small key routes.
Oh yeah, in version 6, very easy to soft lock Palace of Darkness. Sometimes impossible to avoid.
And Bo being in the dungeon's a great way for that to happen. Clean movement through a lot of these rooms for Aarondobbe.
Gets that small key.
Just relaxing, enjoying himself, finishing up his side of the race.
And gets the other key anyway.
Better safe than sorry.
Yeah, probably not regretful that he went through the tile room. I think most people would have. I mean, Wolf made a mistake and got lucky.
Yeah. Yeah, Wolf got very, very ahead of himself. He found the big key and mirrored out, I think, before finishing the rest of the chests in the room he was in. And then those two that Aaron just opened up, well, oddly enough, opened up. I wonder if he's just looking for a free health refill or something. Anyway,
he might be looking for silver arrows.
Oh.
He might be holding out hope for silver arrows.
Yeah, you can get lucky and just have, I mean, He's just trying to finish up anyway. Finding those would be icing on
I
the cake.
mean, if I were at this point and I didn't know where silver arrows were, those two chests, because they're practically right along your path, yeah, I'd probably open them.
Yeah.
I'd probably open the Moldorm 2 chest as well, and I
Ooh.
expect he's going to
During
too.
chat sees it during the Moldorm 2 fight, not holding away from the pit while you're holding your sword out. Sometimes you just fall straight in. No little stuttering animation on the edge first. Release the D-pad for just a split second. That's all it takes. I think I always open this last chest. I mean, unless it's a huge race and I feel like I'm doing great. That's
only
always a
time I
fun chest to open.
don't is when I really have really everything, including silver
Oh, yeah.
arrows, like
Oh, yeah.
everything.
Yeah. Like 2,400 rupees. Yeah. Yeah, we've all been there. Let's. He's not getting
Alright.
terrible patterns.
Last pattern, pretty good.
As long as you're landing one hit per movement cycle, it's not terrible.
Yeah, as long as you're not missing cycles, you're fine.
Yep.
Now
I mean,
he's
a 6
going in.
cycle
He's
isn't
got
ideal, but ooh, nice. Last
He's
couple
got
cycles were pretty good.
half magic. Shouldn't have too much trouble. Not sure what he has in the way of potions or anything. Well, he definitely found that one green potion in Ganon's tower, so no matter what's
Yeah.
happening, he's not running out of magic.
Yeah. Not sure if he found the free red potion earlier, or if he ever used it. We'll see when he switches to a fire source.
Alright, switching to cape. Simplifying this phase.
Oh yeah. Great idea.
Yeah, this actually being an excellent use of the cape.
Yep. Unfortunately, no spin attacks with cape turned on, so this is going to be short-lived, although it is a great strat. I'd imagine he does have some magic backup if he's...
Ooh, just barely makes the torch glitch.
But makes it.
But makes it.
Oh, Chad agrees with us. Cape, yeah, cape used by both of these racers. I think I saw. Whoa, whoa, barely getting torch glitch after almost not falling. I think I saw 2 potions when he menued last. A green and a red, if I'm not mistaken. Some of these fire bat dodges are sketchy, but they are dodges.
Yeah, he's working his way through it.
Not bad at all. He went for a couple triples. I like seeing that. He was close to getting a couple of them. Also, when he does get hit, he doesn't hold away or towards the pits. For some reason, holding away from the pit when you get hit by a fire bat, sometimes it'll suck you straight in, and there's not a lot you can do about it. But he's taking cardinal hits and holding cardinal directions, and not terrible. Good fight so far.
Yeah, he's just needs a little bit of time to clean it up, but he's got it.
Yep.
Shouldn't have very many hits left at this point. There we go.
All right. Official time of 2:14:35. Great way to kick off this tournament. I mean this race was great from beginning to end. If Aaron would have hit that spiral cave early on, I think that's what put him behind the most. I'm gonna talk to Aaron, see if he wants to get in here and for an interview. All your base are belong to us. Carcat, if he does agree to an interview, do you know how to pull him in to
Yeah.
the room? Okay, cool. And there it
Not
is. He.
sure. Wolf not. And Wolf
No,
did not want to do an
Yeah,
interview.
I asked him earlier, and he said no, thank you. Very humble way to enjoy your win.
Okay, looks like, yeah, we can just let him know if he wants to get into,
Carcat and I both in the IRC, giving suggestions and advice.
Get him into the general chat so we can drag him on in.
Yep. He's already saying in the IRC that he's aware of his mistake, that spiral cave, and he does feel bad about it. Oh, there's the man.
Hello.
Hello, Aaron. So the spiral cave, sir.
Yes.
That a couple times throughout the race, I mentioned that you're going to be kicking yourself. One was the glove and Zora's Domain just up on the edge. So the took you a while to go and check for that, and once, I think you beat AGA 1 before a couple times throughout the race. I mentioned that.
Yes, that is true.
Yourself. One was the glove, goodness, sir. And so Zora's Domain. That happens to you. You lose a little bit of time, get a little bit behind, and you started catching up. I think you went to Eastern and Pod and had to go back and finish them second visits. Great race from beginning to end, man. How do you feel about it?
I feel pretty good with my time given the seed. Yes, it's very unfortunate that I decided to skip Spiral Cave, but it happens sometimes.
Yep. As we always say, are you going to forget that Spiral Cave in any of your upcoming races?
Oh man, it's happened to me so many times that I've wasted a lot of time going there. Just as often as it has been that I've missed something. So
yeah, I personally have lost many a run to that exact cave. Definitely one of the more commonly forgotten ones.
Yeah. I've seen Boots in it. I've seen Hammer in it.
I missed Lamp there.
Lamp?
Oh yeah.
I missed Lamp where Fire Rod was in the Hera basement.
Oh, that's really bad.
That's brutal.
Yeah,
brutal.
It happens. But yeah, definitely a more commonly missed location for sure.
Now, Aaron, your movement was great. You had some awesome boss fights throughout this race. You were catching up. You were on his toes, or on his heels the entire time. Just those two early choices set you back.
Yeah, well, that's encouraging. That it was just a fortunate pathing error.
It was an unfortunate pathing error and a solid run otherwise.
Oh yeah.
As was just said, excellent movement.
I think the one thing I noticed the most was you did not stop. I made sure to point it out in the chat a couple times that even when you were getting limited on where you could go, you kept moving, and that's super important in these races.
Very important, yes.
Yes, I've been putting in a lot of practice lately for that reason. Just always have somewhere to go, because making a bad choice is sometimes better than making no choice at all.
Your practice is showing, man, and keep it up. While we're finishing up and seeing your credits here, seeing all your statistics, if you will, is there anything else you'd like to add about your side of the race, or? I do have to say, Wulfy played awesome. You had a race on your hands the way that he just found some great items early on and took off.
Yeah, for sure. I do feel like Wulfy is a much better player than I am. I'm just happy that this was as close as it was, for sure.
Oh, very close.
Absolutely.
You guys, so many times throughout the race, even though you guys had very different. Yeah, same dungeon constantly, even though you had very different inventories. I think it happened at least 3, if not 4 times.
Yeah, that's pretty
Very
interesting.
Cool. Very cool race.
So, one of my favorite things about this hack and the randomizer is how you can be in the same place, but your experience is so differently colored by what you found so far, and there are so many ways to get around any given problem that it's definitely a different game every time you play it.
For sure. Making mistakes, learning the smallest thing, but you're going to add it to your repertoire of every seed that you do from now on, with that given gear. It's very route on the fly, figure out what you have to do. Neither one of you guys even checked your Light World map for a long time. I think 15-20 minutes into the race was the first time I saw a map. Maybe a little less than that, but about that.
Yeah, I generally try not to look at the map right away until I think I can do something about it.
Yeah.
Just I might be able to go a little bit faster if I have one less thing in my head.
Oh, great strategy. Oh no, there's a crystal in Eastern. I need to find the bow. No, forget all that. I'm just gonna check out Kakariko and get myself some gear.
Yeah.
Get geared up for the adventure I'm about to go on. Oh, dude, great race, good game. That's a great time to go towards your average. Do you have any races coming up?
Not scheduled yet.
Okay.
It was just sort of a on-the-fly thing. It's like, all right, we're started. Let's get one done early.
Awesome to hear. I think I'm going to mute my mic for a little bit. I need to type something in. I don't want to click at your guys' ears. So give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Also, these stats, none of Thieves Town. You found one item in Thieves Town, and
Yep.
it was important.
Yep, it was the fire rod, I believe. Yep.
Your opponent
found that and turned around.
Your opponent early on dipped his head and just peeked in and found that, and it kind of lined him up for the rest of his side of the race.
Yeah, that would have definitely been a big help.
And
9
another
mirrors,
sub
9...
5-minute menu time. So
Yeah. 0 deaths. 4:22 menu, 11 minutes of lag time. It's a lot of diagonal movement.
always good to see a sub 5-minute menu time.
Always. Every time.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially with menus being as chaotic as they can get in randomizer.
Yes. Sometimes you just get that menu where you have a checkerboard and it becomes really annoying to navigate.
Exactly.
Left, 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 left
Yep.
to get to your item.
That's my strategy. Just keep hitting left or right till you get where you need.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Don't throw an up and down in there, because then you'll just get back to where you were, where you started. It happens. But all right, I'm muting myself for just a moment, guys. Unless that's all. Do we have another race coming up?
There's
Arcad?
another race after this one. I am not commentating for that one. But there is another race right after this one. 2 races back to
Awesome.
back. Wow.
Excuse me. I think I could probably stick around for one more, especially seeing as I'll have a little bit of a break before the 2 guys get going. Is there anybody else scheduled for commentating for the next 2 races? Okay.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
it'll be you and if you stay on, it'll be you and Alucard, looks like.
If it's preferable, and it would be for me, not the race that's coming up with New Life and Simbai, but since it already has somebody, if the next one does not, I can do that one
That would be
solo
even
or
better.
with somebody
That would
else.
be better because I can't do either of the 2 coming up.
Exactly. So
Yeah, we'll
can't
put
say
you in
myself.
for that. That's perfect. But yeah, everyone just stick around because there are 2 more
Yep.
exciting randomizers coming up. Right,
2
like
more
literally
awesome races
in just a few minutes.
I know that New Life.
Switching restreamers and cleaning up and just sort of getting restarted, but it don't go anywhere.
Yep, I know New Life and Simbai are going to have a great race. And AarondTP, thank you again. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. That's what I've been calling you this whole race.
It's Dobby, but it's
Dobby?
a common mistake.
I probably called you both of them, both enunciations throughout the race. Thanks, guys. I'll be back shortly.
All right.
Well, actually, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here for the next race, or for the next commentator to do his race, and I'll see you guys in. Sweet, I'll see you guys in just a couple hours.
All right, and that's a good night for me to everyone tonight. See you probably in a day or two, and just keep up the hype and say hi to Alucard coming up, and cheer on those racers.
Oh, definitely. And
And
thank you,
remember,
Carcat, for backing me up.
follow the runners. Follow the runners.
Oh, yes. Throw that
Absolutely.
in the chat. It's a
Yes,
good idea.
follow the runners.
These guys are awesome. Later,
Yep.
guys. Later, Carcat.
See ya.